Help me to reach 2,000 subscribers. When I opened the door, her laughter died in her throat. The phone slipped from her hand, landing face up on the carpet. I didn't need to pick it up to know what I had just interrupted. The sound of his voice, low, familiar, intimate, still hung in the air, leaking from the speaker before the call cut off. "Daniel," she whispered, pale as ash. "You're home early." I stared at her like she was a stranger wearing my wife's skin. The woman in front of me, wrapped in my old university sweatshirt, was trembling. Behind her, the faint aroma of wine lingered, mingling with her perfume, sweet and suffocating. "I thought you were working late," she said. I should have said something, anything, but silence felt heavier than words. It filled the space between us, thick and electric. My jaw tightened. The name flashing on the phone moments ago, Evan Redhart, was burned into my mind. Her coworker, the one she swore was just a friend. I walked past her, into the kitchen, every sound amplified. The tick of the clock, the hum of the fridge, her shaky breath behind me. I poured a glass of water just to have something to do with my hands. "Daniel, please, it's not what you think," she began. I turned slowly. "Then what is it, Julia?" Her lips parted, but no sound came. Then, with a forced calmness that almost made me laugh, she said, "It's complicated." "Complicated," I echoed, setting the glass down. "You were laughing with another man, in our home, while I was supposed to be working overtime to pay for the vacation you wanted." Her eyes watered. "It wasn't like that. He was just what?" I cut her off. "A distraction? Someone to fill the silence when I wasn't here." The words came out colder than I felt. Inside, something fragile was fracturing quietly, irreversibly. She sank onto the couch, burying her face in her hands. "We've been distant, Daniel. You barely talk to me anymore. I didn't plan for this. It just happened." There it was, the classic confession. It just happened. Like betrayal was a storm she accidentally walked into. I sat across from her, every muscle tense. "So you decided to fix our marriage by letting another man comfort you?" Her tears came faster now. "It was one conversation, one stupid call. I swear nothing physical ever happened." I wanted to believe her. God, I did. I'd built my life around this woman. The laughter in the mornings, the warmth of her side of the bed, the small rituals that made up our love. But something in her eyes betrayed her. A flicker of guilt too sharp, too deep to belong to a single phone call. "Julia," I said quietly, "how long?" She looked up. "What? How long have you been lying to me?" Her mouth opened, but she hesitated, and that was my answer. "3 months," she finally whispered. I laughed, a broken sound that scared even me. 3 months, I repeated. "While I was working late, trying to keep us afloat, you were what? Sneaking around? Sending him messages from our bed?" She shook her head violently. "No, it wasn't like that. I ended it weeks ago. I realized I wanted you, Daniel. That's why I was laughing tonight. I was telling him goodbye." Her words hit like a cruel twist of fate. Maybe she was telling the truth. Maybe I really had walked in on the ending, not the beginning. But it didn't matter. The damage had already sunk its teeth in. "I wanted to tell you," she said, her voice cracking. "But I didn't want to lose you." "You already did," I whispered. She stood, crossing the room, her hands trembling as she reached for me. "Please don't do this. Don't throw us away over a mistake." I stepped back. A mistake is forgetting an anniversary, not falling for someone else. The silence stretched again, suffocating and endless. Outside, rain began to patter against the windows, faint and rhythmic, like a heartbeat fading away. I looked at her, really looked at her. The woman who once made me feel invincible now looked small, desperate, and terrified. And part of me hated that I still loved her. "Daniel," she whispered, "we can fix this." "How?" I asked, my voice barely above a whisper. "How do we fix trust when it's already shattered?" She had no answer. The next morning I packed a bag. She stood by the doorway, her face swollen from crying. "Please," she said again. "Don't leave." "I'm not leaving," I replied quietly. "You are." Her breath caught. "What?" "I called your sister. You'll stay with her for a while. I need space. Time." She stared at me like I'd stabbed her. "You can't just—" "Daniel, this is our home." "Our home," I said slowly, "stopped being ours the moment you invited someone else into it." That broke her. She crumpled to the floor, sobbing, clutching the edge of the couch like it was the only thing keeping her alive. I wanted to kneel beside her, to hold her, to forgive her. But I didn't, because forgiveness without truth is just surrender. When she finally left, the silence was unbearable. Her perfume lingered in the air, ghost-like, clinging to everything. I sat alone, staring at the framed photo of us on the mantel, the one from our wedding day. Her smile in that picture was radiant, full of promises she thought she'd keep. Days turned into weeks. She called, texted, begged for another chance. I ignored her at first. Then, one night, curiosity won. I opened her messages. There were pages of apologies, desperate declarations of love. But buried between them was one short text that froze me. "He found out. I've lost everything. Tell me it was worth it." It was sent to Evan. The next day, I drove to her sister's house. She looked wrecked, hair unwashed, eyes hollow. She barely met my gaze. "I saw your message," I said. Her face went pale. "Daniel, please, that was honest," I interrupted. "For once." She broke down again, tears spilling uncontrollably. "He promised he'd leave his wife," she choked out. "I thought he meant it. When he didn't, I ended it. Then you found out and I lost everything in one day." For a long moment I said nothing. I felt no triumph, no satisfaction. Just emptiness. "You didn't lose everything," I finally said. "You gave it away." I turned and walked out before she could answer. Outside, the evening air was cold, sharp. I took a deep breath, feeling it cut through the ache in my chest. The road ahead was uncertain, but for the first time, it was mine alone. And that was the price she paid. She lost our marriage in one day, and I found my freedom in the same.